This year, Queensland artist Brittany Elise has been named a finalist at the Independent Country Music Awards for Female Artist of the Year and Album of the Year. She has recently returned from performing at CMA Fest in Nashville. Last year, she was a grand finalist in the Toyota Star Maker competition, and she released her album, Just Be. She has a brand new song, Something About This Town, and we're going to talk about that and the album and some other things. Hello, Brittany Elise.
Hello, so nice to catch up again.
It's great to see you, and I have quite a few questions because you've been having some adventures. I'm going to start with CMA Fest. How was that?
Oh, absolutely incredible. I mean, it's been on the bucket list for years, and heading to Nashville in 2023 has also been on the bucket list for years, trying to get there. We were meant to go, obviously, a couple of years ago, but CMA was an absolute dream crowd, got to play my brand new songs, exclusive songs, and to a very happy, excited Nashville country music environment. So yeah, it was really, really exciting.
Because I imagine for an Australian artist going to such a big festival in a different country, there must be a sense of wondering what's going to happen. Like, is anyone going to turn up? How do I get the word out when there are all these other people playing?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Nashville lives and breathes music 24/7. So, and every single, coffee shop, clothing store, every single store has got incredible live music. So, I mean, they know what to expect, and yeah, it's cool finding new music, and being an Aussie is probably that extra bonus excitement as well.
Right. When you said you were planning to head there a couple of years ago, was that just to check it out, to do some writing? Did you have some firm plans that you had to delay?
Yeah, we had some firm plans that we had to delay, but I mean, we've come out of that downtime bigger and better than ever. So there was, instead of having, one album ready to go, we're, 2 or 3 albums ready to go. So, and then continuing to write on top of that. So it's been really exciting, and we've just maximized in a time that was so unpredictable. And to be honest, we've come out the other side bigger, stronger than ever. So yeah.
It sounds like you spent a little bit of time there when you went over for CMA Fest.
Yeah, so part of my winning Gympie Muster Australia, they included 6 nights in Nashville, Tennessee, and I was super excited for that. And then I extended the trip, and then they actually asked me to stay rather than fly home, and so it ended up turning into nearly 4 months.
Oh, wow.
So 6 nights, 4 months, not quite the same, but it was super, super exciting to be there and working with world-class musicians, writing some of my best stuff yet. Like it was, I'm still a little bit speechless about it because I can't put into words how wonderful it was. The people were so great, so welcoming. And I mean, it was just a time for me that I could keep growing and learning as an artist. And yeah, I'm just excited for the chapters that keep coming, built on from what we've done already.
Yeah, because I didn't mention that you won the Gympie Muster Talent Search. Was that last year or was that the year before?
Yeah, 2022, just last year.
Oh,
yeah.
There you go. So it's like,
all time means something. 12 months. It's been a crazy 12 months. So
yeah, it has. It absolutely has. Because I saw you perform at the Star Maker Grand Final, and that's a big deal as well. Like that's, I think,
and that was the same year.
Yeah. Well,
yeah. So it's crazy. Yeah, how much we've been able to put into that time, but yeah, it's been really incredible.
Yeah, and it must feel like, because you have worked towards it. It's not like this is just something that came out of the blue. Star Maker requires you to be at a certain point in your career. You had an album out in 2019. So you have been steadily working towards it. And I think it's, if nothing else, it proves the value of applying yourself and holding your nerve and keeping your faith. And I do think holding of one's nerve is underrated in terms of being able to achieve things.
Absolutely. I truly believe anyone can make it work if they work hard and have the drive and the passion and the patience that comes with it. I truly believe that. And I mean, I'm kind of living that out at the moment. Like I've worked, it's funny when they say someone's an overnight sensation. Like, I mean, I'm a 20+ year journey already, so a lot of those people have been doing the same thing. And it's not just here and there, it's all day, every day, working, defining our craft, continually getting better, learning. Yeah, it's definitely not an overnight thing, but if you love it so much, it really is worth it.
If you feel the fire, to borrow the title of
you find your music if you feel the fire.
Yeah. So is patience something that you've learned, or is it a quality you've had since childhood?
I think I've always had it, but I definitely think that being an artist, and I used to be a teacher as well, you learn patience pretty quickly. But I do feel like it's one of my characteristics already. But yeah, patience is very important. I mean, it's kind of important for anything in life, really.
It is. I work in a creative field by day, and the biggest problem I identify with people trying to get work out is impatience, because so often they just will want something out there because they finish it and they think that's it. This is the moment. I want everyone to know about it without letting it sit and marinate for a bit, and considering that it might need a bit more work. And I think with songs, you obviously need to be patient with songs. Some songs take a while to come to fruition, and then you have to go through demoing and all sorts of things.
Oh, absolutely. And I think sometimes you might think this is your path, and then all of a sudden you're going in a different direction, but somehow you always end up, if you keep working, you end up there. So yeah, it's an adventure.
Yes. And speaking of adventures, back to Nashville, you recorded Something About This Town in Nashville. So I imagine that was during the 4 months you were there.
Yeah, it was. I was actually fortunate to write it in Australia, and then I went over to Nashville and finished it. And then when the people that I was working with in the States loved the song as well, and they were like, oh, we need to get in the studio and record, obviously, that song and many others. And I really wanted to kickstart this next chapter with that song, I've met so many incredible people. I truly believe country music fans are some of the most incredible people, and country music, one of the foundations is storytelling. So being able to, I wrote the song Something About This Town about the great people, the great community people that have encouraged me and I've met along the way. And yeah, it was kind of just this beautiful start. And then to record it with the world-class musicians in Nashville, Tennessee, well, that was an absolute dream come true. So yeah, it was really, really exciting. And one of my most, it was super fun. The way we recorded it, we went back to the roots and everyone was recording at the exact same time, and the song came to life, which was super exciting.
Yeah. Now, I believe you wrote this with David Carter. So how did that connection come about?
Yeah, so David and I have written actually a lot of my songs together off my first 2 albums. And I went to him with this idea, and he's such a family man, great community person as well, great artist, great songwriter. And so I went to him with the idea, and he loved it, and we ran with it. And it actually wasn't quite a long write. It was quite a quick write. Because I mean, as I said, the lyrics say it all: great people, great community support, and it makes me who I am. So yeah, there's something about this town. And there's so many great Australian and international towns just like that. And Nashville's also one of those.
Yeah. Well, you said sport. There is a lot about sport in it. Friday night. So
yeah.
On this song, as with your others, it feels like you write from a place of feeling first, actually. That is, you want to document an experience through the feeling of it, and you then put details around it so you get a full spectrum of it. I'm wondering if that's true, or if that's just my perception.
No, that's very much true. I feel, for me, I love writing songs that are super relatable in all aspects, in all parts of our lives. Everyone's on their own journey. And so I really write songs that are relatable to my story, but also something that's relatable to someone else as well. And then how catchy can we make it? That's kind of the mission. We love sing-alongs, we love live shows. I mean, we've got this huge tour that we're on as well, the Something About This Town tour. So it's perfect. It all just kind of aligns with each other.
I love that. How catchy can we make it? I think that's a really great premise to work from. So is that about refining the melody, refining the hook, so that and you trust your instincts about what's catchy?
Yeah, for sure. And the hook, which may be the title, that's one aspect of being catchy. I love that to be catchy and maybe repetitive, but also guitar riffs and how a song starts, how a song ends. Is there some sort of crowd engagement? Because I love that, and that works perfectly at our live shows. And our live show isn't just about myself and my band performing, it's our show. Like everyone that's there, we want it to be an experience. We want everyone to be in the experience. I mean, that's the foundation of Feel the Fire as well. I wrote that as a sing-along so I can teach a live crowd.
Right.
And again, that last hook, which is actually the start of the song, I wrote last.
Right.
In the songwriting process. So yeah, it's and it's such a fun game. How many hooks can we put in a song?
Yeah. Is do you think this has come from the music you've always loved, or is this something that as an artist you've actually thought, okay, well, what can I do here to communicate better with the audience? What's needed from me? How do I actually simplify it? Because it's a simple premise, make it as catchy as possible, but it's quite complicated to pull off, and you do it. Your songs are very catchy. I'm usually toe tapping. There's always an earworm, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'd say the latter that you said, definitely. But we, yeah, it's just you want listeners to also go away remembering what they heard, and that's something that's super important. But also the feeling that they receive. So, you know, some a song being catchy or stuck in someone's mind doesn't necessarily have to mean repetition. And some of the songs we've got planned leading into 2024, I'm sure when we touch base again, when we have that chat, you'll see what I mean with different ways that I've experienced with that. Yeah, it's memorable but catchy, but feel good, if that's the theme behind the song as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think you write from the heart, which, you know, is related to what I said about feeling, but also you sing from the heart. So to the audience, it sounds like you are trying to make that connection with them, and you do make that connection with them. When you're recording, do you feel like you're singing to someone?
Yeah, absolutely. I always think about, well, that's the most important. Like, you don't want to just sing it. I need to feel it as I sing it, because that's the record that people are going to listen to on repeat. And I think from a artist that also writes my own songs, that comes a lot easier, because I wrote the song for a particular purpose. There's a particular meaning and feeling behind it. So I just, you know, touch into those feelings, and that's what comes about into the recording.
So my sense from listening to Just Be, which was your second album released last year, as well as to the new song, is that you've arrived at this place where you're making a commitment to your music, and you really want to communicate that to other people as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's I mean, that's the foundation of writing, and why we're artists, is to share our story and have that relatability with our people.
And I get the sense it's also about you making a commitment to be not just the best artist you can be, but the best person you can be. And that sounds like some maybe potentially a grandiose thing to say, but I actually think it's a really lovely intention, because it requires constant commitment to that.
Oh, absolutely. And you'll hear that across all my songs. You know, like there's a theme, and that is my personality. You know what I mean? Like family, love, support, you know, town, community, you know, all of those different things are what defines me as well as a person. But yeah, through my music as an artist. I mean, that's what I'm writing songs for. That's the stories I'm trying to share.
Yeah. And yes, on both of your albums, actually, that's been very true, that you write about community. And I certainly had a sense of your life, but not so many details that it felt like it was intrusive.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and we've all got ups and downs, and you'll hear that, you know, setbacks, challenges, things you got to overcome. And, you know, sometimes they're really hard, you know, and that's even the positive songs. They've all got that theme behind it.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the pandemic was a huge setback for all musicians. It continues to have an impact, I think, on live performance, and from what people have said. But for you, it does sound like you haven't let it slow you down. If anything, it's energized you to achieve more, write more, record more.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of music, I can't sit still. So, you know, that downtime, I was writing way more than ever. I was touching base with artists. You know, we're always on the road at different times. I took a TV film sync course because I wanted to keep learning. So now I've got song placements happening in that behind the scenes as well. Like, I just try and maximize my time. And again, it's because I love it. And so then it becomes natural, and I want it to be part of my life. So
I've never heard of a TV film sync course. So that's about getting your music into TV and film.
Yeah, well, I was very fortunate. I mean, when the world shut down, everything went online. So all of these massive US, international, Australian courses all went onto Zoom. So, or to whatever platform they were using online. And so I was able to maximize that, which I wouldn't have the opportunity because normally it's in person. And I was able to, jump in online and graduate with all of those people. And so
Yeah.
that was nearly 8 months of that course as well.
Okay, right. That's yes, that sounds quite intense. Actually, I would
Yeah,
have maybe it was just a
I
short
loved it. It was fun. It was a new challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, we couldn't do much else at the time. So
So the way you said that suggests you like challenges, and so I guess that means in your music it is you're challenging yourself to make a better album, and by a better album, not necessarily the last one was bad, but just how can I improve each time? How can I deliver to the audience?
absolutely. And I mean, every album is a stepping stone, and so then you build on that for the next one. And absolutely, like when you listen, I'd say any artist, like you can hear growth, you can hear change, you can hear whether that's within the artist or life changes. But I mean, that's something super special. And I have so many people that come to live shows and they have made sure they have had every single album along the way, because that's actually the memory of Brittany Elise's story being told.
Right.
So that's kind of really special. And I mean, some of them are very rare now. Like I know one of my albums, I think I've got maybe 2 copies left forever.
Wow.
So one of the very early days ones. But yeah, well, even my Just Be one, people were so supportive and wonderful. We don't have as many copies left of the physical. Yeah.
And are you feeling like for the next album, which you are moving on to, no doubt, because you've been recording in Nashville, that you will make CDs still?
Yeah, I think there's always a place for CDs. Like, I mean, we may not all have CD players left anymore, but as I said, it's a piece of memorabilia of that time and, those songs, and you can't get that online. Like when online updates and moves on, at least you always have that physical copy. And I mean, it's a great support for us. It's funding back into creating more music, which literally most people say that's what they're doing it for.
Yeah.
To have this memory and support the next.
Yeah. Well, and I do think country music audience in particular still likes a CD, and because they like to be able to come up and chat afterwards and get something signed, and it's all part of the experience.
Absolutely. And we love it just as much.
So yes, we have talked about you recording some more tracks while you're in Nashville. So I'm guessing, yes, you're looking ahead to a release schedule, and are you thinking you'll release singles along like the Spotify lines, one every 3 months, or are you just going to put them out as it works for you?
We're kind of fine tuning at the moment. But I think also I want a meaning behind why I'm releasing the song as well. So there needs to be a purpose for that song. And I mean, I've written songs for that reason too. Like I kind of can see where we're going in the next 6 to 12 to 18 months. And so that plan will align kind of with both. Yeah. There'll be music coming very soon.
Good. And you also mentioned going on tour, and you have quite a lot of tour dates coming up. I wonder I'm always fascinated how artists choose the places they play. And some people say, oh, I just go back to where I had a good time before. And some people deliberately will choose completely different spots.
I do a little bit of all. Like we've been very fortunate with this tour, quite a few dates. Venues have actually asked us back, which is super exciting. And I mean, if they're asking us back, we had a brilliant time there as well. So that's we go back to places we love. I mean, we've got an incredible list of festivals in this tour as well, like bucket list festivals that I haven't performed at before, but I've always dreamed about performing at. So we're very excited about those as well as new places as well that maybe we've been trying to get to in the last 3 years, but couldn't fit it in, but now we're in that area. So yeah, we try a little bit of everything. When we've got great fans and they want us to come back, that's on the list. We've got great festivals as well as new places. We want to see as many people and as many places And I like to sometimes go to those places that might not get as much live music as well. Like it's quite rare, or they have to travel a very long way to get to where a lot of shows are. We try to go to those towns. So,
Yeah,
and
right.
there's something super special about that too. Something about this town. That's how we wrote it.
Do you think you'll add to the tour? Because I mean, from memory, it's taking you through most of the rest of this year, but there's always next year.
Yeah, well, just since releasing, we've already added new shows. If there was, I didn't even think there was any dates, but there was a couple and we filled them. So yeah, it's definitely growing and it'll grow into next year. I mean, we've already got some lined up that we haven't quite released yet, but yeah, it's like well over 25 shows at the moment. So it's a huge tour, and but we love it. And we've got all these new songs and we can't wait to share them. And that's how we decide release order as well, is what I mean, these are the people listening and buying and supporting our music. So what they're relating to and loving as well is super important to us.
Are you doing all the tour booking yourself?
We've got a pretty good team at the moment. Yeah, I definitely have a strong input on it and where we're going and places that I've loved as well. And but yeah, we've got a strong team going at the moment across.
No, that's good. The reason I asked was I was envisaging you having to do all the admin as well. I was thinking that would be a lot.
I do. Yeah, I do a lot of it. Yeah.
Well, people can find those dates on your website, and no doubt you'll be putting things on social media as well. And in the meantime, they can listen to Something About This Town. And I'm excited to hear there is more new music coming soon. And whenever the album is out, I'm sure. Brittany Elise, it was great to talk to you.
So beautiful to talk to you too. Thank you so much for having me.